The first thing she heard was her own name. Not shouted, whispered. "Claire, please, stay with me." The world smelled like gasoline and burned rubber. Something sharp pressed against her temple. A distant siren wailed, growing louder, slicing through the ringing in her ears. Claire Whitmore didn't move. She could. She just chose not to. Because the moment she opened her eyes, she would have to feel it all. The terror, the loss of control, the truth she'd spent years outrunning. So the CEO of Whitmore Global, the woman who negotiated billion-dollar mergers without blinking, lay perfectly still in the wreckage of her own luxury, Seddon and pretended to be unconscious. The rain began to fall. It tapped against the shattered windshield and slid down her cheek like cold tears. She heard a car door slam, footsteps, then his voice again, closer now, shaking in a way she had never heard before. "Claire, hey, I'm here. I've got you." Ethan Cole, her assistant, her calendar keeper, her gatekeeper. The single dad who always left precisely at 5:30 p.m., no matter how many investors lingered in the boardroom. The man she had once almost fired for lack of executive availability. She remembered the look on his face that day, not angry, not defensive, just calm. "I'm sorry, Ms. Whitmore, my daughter needs me." At the time, she had dismissed it as weakness. Now, she felt his hands, steady despite the tremor in his breath, cupping her face. "Don't open your eyes yet," he murmured urgently. "There's glass everywhere. I'm going to move you, okay? You trust me?" She didn't answer. But he moved anyway, carefully, slowly, shielding her head with his body as he unbuckled her seatbelt. She felt his jacket drape over her shoulders before the cold rain could soak through her blouse. She heard him speaking again, not to her this time, but to someone else. "I'm her assistant. Her name is Claire Whitmore. She's allergic to penicillin. His voice caught. "She hates being late." Even now he was thinking of her preferences. The sirens stopped. Doors slammed. Voices barked instructions. "She's breathing," a paramedic said. "She's lucky," another added. Lucky. Claire lay in Ethan's arms on the wet asphalt and wondered if she had ever truly believed in luck. The ambulance ride was chaos, metal rattling, questions firing, oxygen mask pressing against her face. She kept her eyes closed. Because as long as she was unconscious, she didn't have to speak. And speaking meant control. Control meant strength. Strength meant she couldn't admit she was afraid. She felt Ethan's hand wrap around hers. He shouldn't have been allowed in the ambulance. Company policy, liability, optics. But he was there anyway. His thumb brushed her knuckles gently, rhythmically, like he was calming a child after a nightmare. "Claire," he whispered, his voice cracking now. "You're not alone, okay? I know you don't like needing anyone. I know you think you have to carry everything yourself." Her chest tightened. The siren howled again. "But you don't," he continued, softer now. "You don't have to be made of steel all the time." Steel. That's what the media called her. The steel magnolia of Manhattan. Youngest female CEO to lead a Fortune 500 company. A woman who clawed her way up after her father's sudden death. Who transformed a struggling biotech firm into a global powerhouse in under a decade. They never wrote about the night she slept in her office, or the way silence in her penthouse felt heavier than any boardroom pressure. They never wrote about how she hadn't taken a real vacation in 7 years, or how she sometimes sat in her car before work, gripping the steering wheel, trying to remember what it felt like to breathe without expectations crushing her lungs. The ambulance hit a bump. Ethan's grip tightened. "You know what my daughter asked me last night?" He said quietly, as if telling her a secret. "She asked why I smile when I talk about you." Claire's heart stuttered. "I told her it's because you're brilliant and brave, and you built something incredible from nothing." He exhaled shakily. "But what I didn't tell her is that I worry about you." Her fingers twitched before she could stop them. "I worry because you work through migraines. You skip meals. You cancel doctor's appointments. You act like being human is some kind of flaw." The words pierced deeper than the crash ever could. "I've seen you stay late to personally review scholarship applications. I've seen you wire money anonymously to employees who were struggling. You care more than anyone knows." His voice broke completely now. "But you never let anyone care about you." A tear slipped from beneath her closed lashes. She prayed he wouldn't notice. The ambulance doors swung open. Hospital lights flooded in. "Family?" a nurse asked briskly. There was a pause. Claire braced herself for him to say, "I'm just her assistant." Instead, she heard him clear his throat. "I'm with her," he said simply. The words landed somewhere deep in her chest. "I'm with her." Hours passed in a blur of scans and whispered consultations. Minor concussion, bruised ribs. Miraculously, nothing life-threatening. She remained still in the hospital bed long after the room emptied. Except it hadn't. Ethan was still there. She could hear the rustle of his jacket as he shifted in the chair beside her. The soft click of a text message. Probably his daughter. He should be home. "You can go," she almost said. But she didn't. Instead, she listened. He thought she was asleep. "You scared me today," he murmured into the quiet room. "I've lost enough in my life. I can't lose my job, sure. But that's not what I meant." His chair creaked closer. "My wife died in a car accident 5 years ago," he continued. Voice low and steady. "Drunk driver ran a red light." Claire's breath caught. He had never told her that. "I remember sitting in the hospital waiting for someone to tell me it wasn't real, that she'd wake up. That I'd wake up." Silence filled the space between his words. "When I saw your car," he swallowed hard. "I thought, no, not again." Claire's chest tightened painfully. "I know you think you don't need anyone," he whispered. "But the world needs you. Not just the CEO, not the headlines." He paused. "My daughter needs to see women like you leading. My employees need a boss who actually sees them. And I need my friend." "Friend?" The word cracked something open inside her. "I don't stay because it's a job," he said. "I stay because you matter." The monitor beside her beeped steadily. For the first time in years, Claire let herself feel small. Not weak, just human. A quiet sob escaped her before she could stop it. Ethan went still. "Claire?" Her eyes opened. They burned with tears she no longer had the strength to hide. "I was awake," she whispered hoarsely. Shock flickered across his face. Then embarrassment. Then something softer. "You heard—" Everything. Silence hung heavy between them. "I'm sorry," she said suddenly. He blinked. "For what?" "For pretending," she admitted. "For acting like I didn't need anyone. For almost firing you because you're a good father." His lips curved into a faint, tired smile. "You didn't fire me. I almost did. But you didn't." She looked at him then, not as an assistant, not as an employee, but as a man who had run into traffic. For her, without hesitation. "You shielded me," she said quietly. "Of course I did." "Why?" He seemed genuinely confused by the question. "Because that's what you do when someone matters." The simplicity of it shattered her final defenses. All her life, she had believed love was conditional, performance-based, earned through achievement. But here sat a man who stayed, not because she was powerful, not because she signed his paycheck, but because she mattered. Just her. Claire reached for his hand this time. "Go home to your daughter," she said softly. "Tell her. Tell her I'm grateful she shares you with me." He squeezed her fingers gently. "She'll be relieved you're okay." "And Ethan?" "Yeah?" "Thank you." "For not giving up on me." He smiled fully then, warmth replacing fear. "Get some rest, Claire. Steel can bend. It doesn't have to break." After he left, the room felt different. Not empty, just quiet in a new way. 2 weeks later, the board of Whitmore Global gathered in stunned silence as Claire made an unexpected announcement. She was restructuring executive hours. No more 80-hour work weeks as a badge of honor. Mandatory mental health days. On-site childcare. A company-funded scholarship in memory of Ethan's wife for employees. Raising children alone. The media called it a bold strategic pivot. Investors called it risky. Employees called it life-changing. But Claire knew the truth. It wasn't strategy. It was humanity. On her first day back in the office, she walked past the glass walls of her corner suite and stopped at Ethan's desk. He looked up, startled. "Ms. Whitmore?" She smiled. "Claire," she corrected gently. He stood. "You're early. So are you." He laughed softly. "Lila had a school project. I dropped her off." Claire nodded, then did something she had never done before. "Would you and Lila like to join me for dinner Friday?" His eyebrows lifted. "Dinner?" Yes, she said. No agenda. No work. Just people. A slow grin spread across his face. She'd like that. So would I. As she walked into her office, sunlight spilled across the floor-to-ceiling windows, catching the city skyline in gold. For the first time in years, Claire didn't feel the need to conquer it. She felt connected to it. The crash had broken metal and glass, but Ethan's words had broken something far more important. The illusion that strength meant standing alone, and in its place, something better had grown. Not steel, not armor, but a quiet, steady understanding that even the strongest leaders sometimes need someone to whisper, "I'm with you,"